Gym Class Podcast. Here with Rolesville head coach Ranier Rackley. First year as the varsity head coach, man.
Yeah.
I see that puts a smile on your face, man. Have you? I know you probably settled in. The responsibility is much different than you probably had before. If you could just talk to me about that.
The stage is different, I would say. You know what I'm saying? The responsibility now, because I've always been a leader of men. But like I said this time and time again before to some people, like, first, I'm a leader at home. You know what I'm saying? Before I come to this school, before I go on that football field, I'm a leader at home, my wife, my family, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, how am I leading behind the scenes when nobody else is watching? You know what I'm saying? So that's my first team. And then the responsibility changed, the platform changed, because now I'm over the whole football program. But the responsibility, man, it just, again, I know these boys will run through a brick wall for me. You know, that never was a question, because I've been with these boys, some of them since they were 7, 8 years old. And now that some of them are seniors now, it's like, what's next for us? You know, so, man, it's a blessing, man. I can't, it brings a smile on my face, because I've seen what we went through. Not necessarily bad things, but I've seen the ups and downs. I've seen the highs and lows throughout this program, you know, and I'm just thrilled, man, to be in this seat, you know, just to be able to lead these boys, not just to win football games, but to win in life. Like this year, our motto was win from within. And that speaks volumes in so many different ways, not just from a perspective of winning football games, because they've been playing football since they was 5. You know what I'm saying? The football piece, that's easy. What about the stuff we go through, the adversity? How will we persevere through it? What's going to happen when life changes, when life alters you a little bit, how you go maneuver from it. So, again, the platform changed, but the responsibilities kind of stay the same.
I want to stay on that, man, because like you say, like, what do you do when adversity hits you? You're someone that came out, I believe you graduated college around you came out in 2011. 2011,
yep.
And like you said, that was the year that the lockout was.
Mm-hmm.
So you not being somebody that was going to be surefire in the draft, that's a lot of uncertainty. You know, if you can, just talk to me about that time. What was kind of like maybe your hardest part during that time, and how did you stay focused and motivated to accomplish your goal?
Man, the biggest thing for me in that time was, I would say, staying locked in. You know what I'm saying? Not getting so caught up into what I couldn't control, but control the controllables. And me getting drafted or getting picked up, free agent, whatever the case may be, however the card may fail, I was okay with it. But during that time, man, I just had to stay locked in, man. Like, you know, it was a lot of ups and downs that year. You know, before I even entered the draft, it was like going to my last year into college. You know, what was going to happen? Would I get an opportunity? Which I did get an opportunity, but then the lockout hit. I mean, I had 10 to 12 teams call me for the lockout hit. And then even the day up to draft, the lockout opened up for like a short period of time, then it locked right back out. And, you know, again, control the controllables. So, you know, the draft day came, I'm waiting. I didn't get my name called. I'm like, okay, it's still a process. It's still gonna be something I can, you know, I'm very, very much patient in my waiting. So that wasn't nothing to do, but it was just like, okay, the anticipation started coming like, okay, is my year of football, life of football done? Like, is this it for me? Or something else gonna come about? So I just held my hat there knowing, you know, there's always something bigger on the horizon, man, and it did. And some good came out of it. A lot of good came out of it. So
I mean, you stayed at it. You know, you were able to get it in for a couple of years.
Yeah.
You played
arena
football as well. I just want to say, during that time, or even before that time in high school, what was some of the best advice that you got from somebody around you?
One thing that always stood out to me, man, my high school football coach, Coach Kevin Sullivan, back in Jacksonville, he prompted a question to me, and what it was, he was like, right, your name has a question mark by it. I'm like, what you mean by that? He's like, everyone want to know what you go do. And when he asked me that kind of triggered a whole nother person in me. Like, I can't even explain it. The year before, I kind of, you know, dealt with injuries and all that stuff, and my ankles and all that type of stuff my junior season. So I kind of got looked over. I still had a decent year because I was, you know, still recruited, whatever, but I still feel like I didn't do what I needed to do. And then that off season, that summer, going into my senior year in 04 and 05, I'm like, okay, was something really about to take off? And man, I fast forward, man, I worked for like 2,400 yards, 20 plus touchdowns. I had like almost 1,000 plus yards in 4 games. Like I can't even explain, like I can't even explain to you like what clicked in me. Like all my other homeboys that got picked for like the Super 11, the top guys in the city or whatever. I ain't get picked for nothing. So for me, I had a target. I legit had a calendar. So every time I played against someone, I personally knew. I said, okay, this is what I want to do this game against this person. And every time I did, I mean, even my family members, you know, I went at them. So it's, you know, but again, man, that question he prompted to me, I'm like, okay, what I'm gonna do now? And that's something that stuck with me to this day. And I tell him that all the time, like, man, appreciate you, because you pushed me in a way that you don't even know you pushed me. And, you know, I just hold my hat, man, just knowing that, you know, when the doubters doubt, you know, when the people is uncertainty, what you gonna do? Again, I gotta block out that noise and stay locked in on the course, man. So.
And let's fast forward to when you started to get into coaching, and then you came to Rolesville. Like you said, I mean, this is your 4th year here. The guys that were JV are now your seniors.
Yeah.
When you first started as JV and you were coaching these guys, what was the message that you gave to these kids?
Persevere. Like legit, you just made me think about it. Legit was persevere, because we had a situation going in that the year before, them boys went 0-10. They went 0-10, and we just talent. The same team I had when I took over, we finished up going 9-1 with the same team. But we had some adversity early on. Quarterback got hurt out for the season, tore his ACL. My other quarterback transferred to South Carolina. So I had to win games. I had to play games with my 3rd string quarterback. And like I told him, I said, y'all remember that word I said before the season, persevere? Now we here now. How we go persevere? And, you know, they rallied behind me. They rallied behind each other. And we did what we had to do. Now these boys are seniors and juniors. And again, the same message is still the same. Persevere. How we gonna get through some stuff? Go get through some stuff early on this off season and stuff that kind of woke a lot of the boys up. And we haven't had one game yet. You know what I mean? But it's like we gotta continue to win from within, lean on each other, love up on each other, because life go happen. You know what I mean? Life go happen, but how we go persevere when life happens? That's why these boys the way they are, man. Like I haven't seen this much more excitement and thrill, man, in these boys for a while. You know what I mean? For a long time. And it is beyond football though. You get what I'm saying? Like they going to eat together, they doing little small stuff together, like they really building a brotherhood that we've been talking about for the last couple of years, trying to get here. But again, it starts with me. If they don't see that with me and my coaching style, it ain't gonna trickle down. You know what I mean? So again, man, it's a fun time in Rolesville right now.
It's like one of those things, like, you know, you watch these kids like literally come in uncertain of what they were going to do, what their talent might be, and they got you the first face they see when it comes to Rolesville football.
Right.
And now it comes full circle.
Yeah.
You know? You cut your teeth on them.
Yeah.
And now it's like, all right, we have this. And it's not just about the senior class, but I'm pretty sure the senior class means a lot.
Right.
Because these are the guys.
Right.
You know, and y'all came so close last year.
Yeah.
Now they got another shot.
Yeah.
So you know they have the potential.
Right.
You know,
right.
So like, what is, like, and you can share whatever personal story or howsoever you like, but I will assume that some of these kids have reached out to you, if they sent you a personal text and said, hey, coach, we want to do this. Has there been any, like, camaraderie that y'all built that they've kind of showed, like, of admiration for you because of you grown with them over the past 4 years?
The biggest thing I always tell the boys to be player driven. The best type of respect and the best type of gratitude they can give to me is to be player driven. What I mean by that is, don't wait until coaches tell you what to do. Be player driven amongst yourself and get the other boys on the same page so y'all can do what you need to do. Because coach driven, I could tell you, hey, be here at this time, whatever. But if you player driven, you go take initiative and accountability to do that. And I'm telling you, like I told them boys, they don't owe me a thing. Be player driven. Outside of football, inside the locker room, on the field, that's enough thanks for me. And they have been doing that. Of course, I'm gonna get on them. I'm gonna, talk to them. They still teenagers at the end of the day, but I don't have to repeat myself so many times. And that's something that I tip my hat to them boys on, because again, that was something they always heard me say, and they've been around me for a long enough time now to understand. Hey, look, this is what Coach Rack expects. This is my first year as a head coach of a program, but they've been with me, so they understand how my philosophy is. They understand how my discipline is. So ain't nothing really too much change. It's just they understand now more. Like, okay, it's a lot more at stake now. You know what I mean? So the buy-in of being player-driven, I think that's how they really prepare me, man.
But it's funny, man, that you say that, because, like, literally talking to Isaiah, he said, winning in the dark, working in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
And that's player-driven. Mm-hmm. Not being able to, not trying to work hard when the coach around.
Fact.
But putting the work in when nobody's around. So that shows just how your message has stood with these kids for over the past 3-4 years. You have a relationship with Leon Washington, correct?
That's my cousin, yeah.
All right, running back.
Yep.
I mean, everybody took old buddy head off.
Yeah.
Everybody remember that, and you played a high level running back yourself.
Yeah.
So if you could, just talk to me a little bit about what makes you believe that Isaiah has what it takes to make it to the next level, and just talk to me about the other running backs that you have, and what do you see in them that can help them get to the next level? Man,
I'm gonna be honest with you. I've seen Isaiah play since he was in the 6th, 7th grade. And if I'm being 100% honest with you, he was one of the reasons why I wanted to come to Rolesville. When he was going to the 9th grade, I'm like, I want to coach that kid. I didn't know the circumstances would go happen, but that would make me leave the school I left to give me more ammunition to come to Rolesville. But just so happened, that happened over there. I'm like, okay, now I really can coach this kid. So I had him since he was in the 7th, 8th grade. And I'm like, man, he's so raw, but he could legit be the best back in the state. And I'm gonna tell you, man, like, he worked hard in the classroom and the field, but man, his at-home life, he got a great following. Like, his mom, his dad, his family, they love up on him, like, very, very supportive. And a lot of kids don't really have that, you know what I'm saying? And the fact that he have the grades, he can play football, and he have a good home life, that's rare. You know what I mean? So, like, I always tell Isaiah, man, like, look, dog, I've been there. I done seen it on the highest of the highs. I done seen guys that thought they was good and they flopped. But don't let that be your narrative. Like, you could create your own narrative now. And I'm hard on him because, again, I'm a running back. And like I told him last year, I said, look, dog, we just got to get a little more mental toughness when adversity describes how you can respond. And when I tell you he responds, like, he responds. And I don't have to tell Isaiah twice about anything. I mean, nothing. And that's what's gonna make him different, man. I feel like he do have the upside to play on the next level. You know, his ability to, his football IQ as a whole is just different. He can catch out the backfield, run between the tackles. He's fast. He's really a track guy. He's a 10-7, 10-8 guy in the track and 100. He ain't gonna speak on it because he pulled the Ranier track last year, but that's another conversation. But yeah, man, he just a great. He got it, man. You know, he got it. You know, I was joking with him. And I was like, I had the opportunity to go down there and coach with the Jaguars, and I was like, man, look, you can be on this level, bro. And I said, there's some guys that's here, you be like, dang, how you got, you know what I mean? But you can be on this level. It's all football, but how you put the work in now can get you to that level. But he's definitely gonna be there. And it's a blessing to coach him and my other running back, Vaughn Thomas, rising junior this year. Both had 1,000 yards last year in the spread offense with Noah Rogers and Tamarcus Cooley, two of the best athletes in the state. You know, Noah went to Ohio State, Tamarcus went to Maryland. You know what I mean? And Noah was the #1 recruit out of the state of North Carolina. And a true spread offense, and we split in carries with two backs. And they both had over 1,000 yards, which last year made my 9th and 10th back to go over 1,000 yards in 5 years. So I had 10 backs to go over 1,000 yards in 5 seasons. Like, consistently, cause like every year I have 2 backs to go. But like I told him, that don't just come from just lining up to go run between the tackles. What we doing? I don't teach my guys the other stuff that you just do in drills. I don't do the stuff like that to translate. Everything we do is translatable. And the way those boys work, man, Vaughn and Isaiah complement each other. You know what I mean? They complement each other in regards to outside of football, like iron sharper iron with those guys. When Isaiah last year, it was kind of tough at first because Isaiah was like, why are you coming in my territory? Because Vaughn came in, But I like, hey, look, y'all gotta get that. Y'all gotta get rid of that. Like, y'all brothers now. I ain't nobody he ain't trying to take your spot. You ain't trying to take his spot. Y'all both go get carries. Y'all both go stay healthy. That's the philosophy of me having 2 running backs that can split carries to stay healthy. But I'll probably go get slapped when I say this, but they probably the best tandem I ever coached together. Like the best tandem of running backs I ever coached. And that's a lot to say. But just, again, man, high IQ guys, high academic guys, 4.4 GPAs, like honor classes, AP classes, like you can't, and they dogs on the field. That's the type of kids you want.
Yeah.
And like I joke with my staff all the time. I said, look, I ain't getting nobody else to coach my running backs. I'm still coaching my running backs, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna get somebody to come help me, but I'm still a head coach, but I'm gonna still coach my running backs. But, cause they're my boys, you know what I mean? And again, they've been with me for a long time, Vaughn with me, been with me since he was in the 6th grade as well. So, man, that's to see what's gonna happen, man, cause a lot of people think, being that we losing our receivers, that we ain't gonna have a lot to do, but it's gonna be a fun year, man. It's gonna be a fun year.
It was funny you say that, because when you said that's the seed, I was thinking you were saying seed. And it seems like they are the seed
They are.
to what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, when that seed, those are gonna be what you planted.
Right.
And that's what your offense is
Right.
be based on.
Right.